So let's start with the combined gas law. So ito pong law na to, itong combined gas law is the law na combination po ni Boyle's and Charles' law. So the mathematical equation for the combined gas law is PV over T is equal to constant. So may also be expressed as the working formula po is P1 V1 over T1 is equal to P2 V2 divided by T2. So lagi lang po nating tatandaan dito po sa ating temperature. So if po ang given is degrees Celsius, so i-convert po natin ito into Kelvin. So let's add 273 sa given po na degrees Celsius to make it Kelvin. So let's try to solve this problem. So the sample problem is the oxygen tank manufacturer used to produce 5.0 liter oxygen tanks at 2000 psi and 25 degrees Celsius. So statistics suggest that the 3.0 liter oxygen tank at 1500 psi more marketable. So what temperature requirement is needed to produce a 3 liter oxygen tank at 1500 psi? The given for this problem is V1, T1, P1, V2, and P2. So we were looking for T2 or the final temperature. So ang gagamitin po nating formula for this problem is T2 is equal to T1 times P2 times V2 divided by P1 times V1. So T1 is 25 degrees Celsius. So we will convert this to Kelvin. So paano nga po mag-convert ng degrees Celsius into Kelvin? So we will add 273. So 25 plus 273 is equal to 298 Kelvin. Then we will times it to P2, which is 1500 psi. Then to our V2, which is 3.0 liter divided by P1 times V1. So P1 is 2000 psi times V1, which is 5.0 liter. So let's solve it. So 298 Kelvin times 1500 psi is equal to 447,000. So 447,000 times 3.0 liter. So 2,000 times 5.0 liter. So 2 times 5, 10. Add 3 zeros. So 10,000 po. Then 447,000 times 3 is equal to 1,341,000. So 1,341,000 divide 10,000. So 1,341,000 divided by 10,000 is equal to 134.1. So equals 134.1. So ano pong ating gagamitin na unit? So cancel lang po natin ang parehas. So PSI, liter, tsaka liter. So, ang natira po is Kelvin. So, 134.1 Kelvin po si T2. So, yun po ang sagot. So, to make it clear lang po, so, paano po nga natin gagamitin or paano po natin gagamitin ang ating working formula for combined gas law. So, di ba po ang ating working formula for combined gas law is the product of P1 and V1 divided by T1 is equal to the product of P2 and V2 divided by T2. So, paano po if si T2 po ang ating hanapin or ang ating pong final temperature? So, ang gagawin lang po natin is cross multiplication. So, P2 and V2 times T1. So, P2, V2 times T1. divided by po P1 and V1. So ito po ang ating gagamitin if we were looking for final temperature. So ganito lang po, cross multiplication po tayo lagi. So let's proceed to our next law, which is the Avogadro's law. So who is Amadeo Avogadro? So si Amadeo Avogadro po is an Italian scientist. So kilala po nga siya sa kanyang contribution sa molecular theory, which is known as the Avogadro's law. So in Avogadro's law, using the proportionality symbol, we can express the proportionality between the volume and the number of mole of a gas as V, A, N at constant T and P. So mathematically, the Avogadro's hypothesis can be expressed as V over N is constant. So this can also be expressed as the quotient of V1 and N1 is equal to the quotient of V2 and N2, or we can times V1 to N2 is equal to the product of V2 and N1. So where V is the volume of gas, N is the amount of gas in moles, and K is a proportionality constant. So let's try to solve this problem. So what will be the final volume of a 5-liter gas which contains 0.965 mole at a 30 degrees Celsius and 1.00 atmosphere if the amount of gas is increased to 1.80 moles provided the temperature and pressure remains unchanged? So let's try to solve this problem. So we will apply the Avogadro's law in this problem. So the given in the problem is the V1 is equal to 5.0 liter and 1 which is 0.965 mole, P1 which is 1.00 atm, T1 which is 30 degrees Celsius, V2 po ang ating missing, N2 which is 1.80 mole, P2 equals 1.00 atmosphere, and T2 which is 30 degrees Celsius. So ito po ang mga given sa atin pong problem. So we were looking for V2 or the final volume. So we will use this working formula. So V2 is equal to the product of V1 and N2 divided by N1. So let's try to solve this one. So V1 in this problem is 5.0 liter. Then N2 is 1.80 mole. Then divide po natin siya sa ating N1 which is 0.965 mole. So 5.0 times 1.80 is equal to 9. So 9 divided by 0.965 is equal to 9.32. 9.32 or 9.3. So ano pong unit ang ating gagamitin? Let's cancel mole. So natitira po is liter. So 9.3 liter po ang ating volume. V2 is equal to 9.3 liter. And for our last law, which is the ideal gas law. So what is ideal gas law? So ideal gas law, or the also called general gas equation. So ito po yung equation na nag-i-state ng lahat ng gas law. So the working formula po for ideal gas law is PV is equal to nRT. So which is po, yung P is the pressure of the gas, V is the volume of the gas, T which is the temperature of the gas, and N for the number of moles. Then R is for the gas constant or for the universal gas constant, which is 0.0820573 liter atmosphere mole Kelvin. So ang gagamitin po natin is yung 0.0821 liter atmosphere mole Kelvin lang po. So let's try this problem po. So we will use the ideal gas law formula for this problem. So The given in this problem is P, T, and R and V. So P, which is our pressure, T, which is our temperature, N, which is our mole, R, which is the universal gas constant, or 0.0821 liter, atmosphere, mole, and Kelvin. So ito po lagi ang ating universal gas constant. So we are looking for the volume in this problem. So we will use V is equal to N RT divided by P. So let's try. So V is equal to N, which is 0.50 mole, times R, which is 0.0821 liter atm mole Kelvin, times T, which is 25 degrees Celsius. So let's convert 25 to Kelvin. So add 273. So 273 is 298 Kelvin. So 298 Kelvin. Then divided by to our P, which is 1.25 atm. So 0.50 times 0.0821 is equal to 0.04105 times 298 is equal to 12.23. So 12.23 divided by 1.25 is equal to 12.23 divided by 1.25 is equal to 9.8. So round off po natin. So 9.8. So ano pong ating gagamiting unit? So cancel po natin si Kelvin, mole, mole, atm. So, ang natitira po is L, which is liter. So, the answer is 9.8 liter. So, ang atin pong V ay 9.8 liter. So, this is the working formula for ideal gas law. So, remember lang po natin na. So, PV is equal to nRT. So, for example, V is missing. So, V is equal po to R NT or nRT divided by po P. If naman po si P ang nawawala or si pressure po ang nawawala, so P is equal to RNT divided by V. So, ganun lang po. So, don't forget po ang ating tatlong laws na natitira. So, the combined gas law, Avogadro'S law, and the ideal gas law. So, the working formula for combined gas law is P1 V1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 times V2 divided by T2. So, cross multiplication lang po. Then, for Avogadro'S law, the working formula for this is V1 divided by N1 is equal to the quotient of V2 divided by N2, or V1 N2 is equal to V2 times N1. So, cross multiplication lang po ulit. Ano po? Then, for ideal gas law, the working formula for this is VB is equal to nRT. So, that's all. Thank you.